All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Joy Church. We're so honored and privileged that you would join us for a few moments on this beautiful Sunday morning when you can be doing a number of other things. You decided to come in to the house of the Lord, and we're just so excited that you did. If you're new here or if we haven't met, my wife Melissa and I are the pastors here, and it's going to be a great day. We've got a special service in store for you. You know, the seasons are changing, as kind of I alluded to earlier. It feels like over the last about 2 weeks or so, the rains have started to come. It's getting a little gloomier, a little darker. And with that season changing comes a mixed emotion, right? For some of us, it's like, no, I want the warmth back, or I want summer break back. And for others of us, it's like, oh, I'm so happy to have my kids back in school. But that only lasts for about 5 seconds until they bring back all of the viruses that you've never heard of, right? Anybody feeling me this morning? I've never been so sick in my life as in the last decade that I've had children. They are germ factories, aren't they? That's not what we're talking about today, okay? So each season it comes with, Christmas seasons like on the right on the horizon. I can't tell you how many memes I've seen of a frozen Mariah Carey thawing out to just sing us all the Christmas carols. All I want for Christmas is you, right? I'm not going to sing it. There's not a chance. No, we want to glorify the Lord in this space. So, the changing of seasons represents a joy and maybe even some mourning for us in a natural way. But how many of you know that there are seasons in life as well? Not just like fall and spring and summer, but like we go through seasons in life. It might last a few years. It could last a decade. It could be months at a time. And we move from one season to the other. Just recently, my wife and I were told by God that we are not done with a certain season. So if you've attended Joy Church for the last, it's hitting slowly. It's hitting across the room slowly. If you've attended Joy, which, by the way, next week is our 2-year birthday celebration. Super exciting. In those 2 years, I've used this platform and this pulpit to borderline manipulate my wife into giving me a fourth child. And most of it was sarcastic. And if you don't know, we have 3 kids. Our eldest, Hannah, is 10. Our middle is, her name's Adeline. She's 7. And our youngest son / monster is 2, and he'll be 3 soon. And that whole time I thought I wanted more children, at least in some way. I'm a bit of a contrarian. I'm just speaking now, okay? I'm a bit of a contrarian. So the fact that she was like, I think I'm done, made me think, well, I'm not then, right? Anybody identify with that personality trait? Okay. So then I spent many a Sundays talking about how maybe the Lord would convict her and that we would have a child. But to be honest, in that period of time, there became in me a bit of a settling in the season. Like, man, I'm a little tired. Like, it's just challenging. I'm ready to be out of diaper season and all the different things. Is this okay to say this morning? Is it okay to be a little bit honest with you? Okay. And then about 2 months ago, 3-4 months ago, surprise! 4th child is on the way. Daniel's dancing back there. And this is not an announcement. Many know this. And we are excited. We are excited. We are excited. We laugh, but there is a season at first when that's not on your docket and your agenda where there's a bit of shock. Are you with me this morning? Can I just be honest with you as your pastor? Children are a blessing. We're going to read the scripture. I love my children, but that wasn't on the agenda. So when God surprised me, there was a moment of like, okay, that's happening, right? Like literally, how many of you know kids kind of change your life? Yeah? Like the first one, of course, changes your life. I felt like the second one, it wasn't like that crazy. 3 was a different game for sure. And now the 4th, like literally, we can't fit in the car. Like literally, we have to get a different vehicle. Like it's going to change so many aspects of our life. Is it okay for me to just be honest about like the realities of having children? We love our kids. We're so excited to have a growing family, and it's going to be awesome. The scriptures say in Psalms chapter 127, behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. Different translations say that they are a gift from the Lord. Amen? Children are a gift, but that doesn't change the fact that in certain seasons, depending on who's having the child, they can also be not only a surprise, but possibly a difficulty, right? Something that's not meant to be a joke, that there are those in certain seasons. Maybe you're too young to have a child. Maybe you're not married. Whatever the season might be. Now, hear me very clearly. I'm going to get into the theology of this in a second. We are pro-life, pro-children. But can we be honest that although it's a gift, that gift comes with heavy responsibility, right? So then we have a couple things to address, a couple of things that we need to answer. First, I want to read you some scriptures, okay? Genesis chapter 1:27 says, so God made human beings, not some, not just the wanted or the planned, human beings in his image. It got real quiet. The laughs are gone. In the image of God, in the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Jeremiah 1:5. I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. Psalms 139:13-18. Hear this. You made all my delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it. You watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion, as I was woven together in the dark of the womb. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed. How precious are your thoughts about me, O God. They cannot be numbered. I can't even count them. They outnumber the grains of sand, and when I wake up, you are still with me. Ephesians 2:10, Paul says, for we are God's workmanship. Other translations say his handiwork. John 10:10, Jesus himself said that he came to give life and more abundantly. Now, this Greek word life, zoe, can mean a number of things, but you know what it doesn't mean? Death. You with me this morning? If you haven't caught the theme, our position as a church, theologically, is that Jesus is pro-life. But there becomes this question, even as I am married for 14 years, father of 3, and being honest that the fourth child is going to expand us and push us. When we acknowledge that Jesus is pro-life, we have to ask ourselves, what about the sticky situations where someone's not ready to take on the responsibility of that life? What do we do? How do we do we just ignore it and say, get over it? Do you just say, suck it up? Do we just push them aside, say that's your problem? Well, first of all, we have to make it very clear that abortion is not from the Lord, okay? Jeremiah 32:35, there's this interesting moment. It's something that you might relate to if you've been a parent or even in the workplace where your kid will do something and it'll be so wacky, right? And they're like, oh, I'm not allowed to do that. And you're like, duh, you're not allowed to do that. Like I had never even considered doing that. What do you mean I'm not allowed to put a crayon down my sister's ear? Yeah, you're not, that's not okay. Are you with me this morning? Well, God has one of these moments. Jeremiah 32:35 says, they had built pagan shrines to Baal in the valley of Ben Hinnom, and there they sacrificed their sons and daughters to Molech. I have never commanded such a horrible deed. It never crossed my mind to command such a thing. What an incredible evil. Here God is speaking to his people saying this idea of sacrificing your children wasn't even on my mind, wasn't near it. You made that up. That's wild. Of course you're not supposed to do that. Now, let me just pause for a moment this morning as we're going to invite a guest here in just a moment. I know it's a little bit heavy, and we're going to talk about how we as a church can partner and navigate with those who might be entering into a season where they don't know what to do. But let me just stop right there as I talk about God's position and our position being pro-life. If you're in this place and you've ever had an abortion, you are welcome into this place. This is not to make you feel condemned or lesser than or cast out. There is grace for you. Amen? We're not pointing fingers, but we have to speak the truth, and we hope to do it in a way that's loving and equipping. So if you're here, let me just be very clear. We're not here to accuse you and to make you feel lesser than. The Lord loves you. He has grace and healing for you, and I believe you can even find that in this place. But there does become this question of what about teens who have a pregnancy? They don't know what to do. They're not equipped. They're not sure if they want to keep it. What if they're being pressured by culture to not keep the child? And how many of you are so thankful that maybe we don't have the answers, but there are organizations, there are people who are equipped, who have given their life and resources to addressing issues like this. Amen? This morning, we are so honored and privileged to have Representative Mike Reid with us, and I'm going to bring him up in just a moment, from Hope Pregnancy Clinic here in Salem, Oregon, who specialize in equipping young moms or moms-to-be on why they should keep their child, or who can take the child, how to navigate parenting, giving them resources, and all the things that they do, which I'm going to let him jump into because that's his area of expertise. But we're so excited, less than 2 years old as a church, to take a stance in the community to partner with a local organization who helps equip young moms or moms-to-be and how to navigate this season of life. So today, I'm going to invite Mike up. He's going to share some of the vision of what Hope Pregnancy Clinic does, and we're going to have an opportunity to partner with them on a volunteer basis, potentially, absolutely on a prayer basis, and we're also going to take an offering for their organization this morning so we can help, as a church, equip them and be part of the answer in our community. Amen? Let's give them a hand.
Thank you. Wow, we could go on the road. You can be my front man. That was a really great introduction. Thank you. I am so happy to be here at Joy Church. Melissa came to Hope Pregnancy Clinic a few weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, I don't remember what it was, but what a great ambassador you have in both of these two. Yeah, so really a delight to be here. Hope Pregnancy Clinic is a part of what I call the compassion arm of the pro-life movement. There are a lot of great efforts to pass good laws and to elect good legislators and to keep this issue forefront in our country's mind. We don't do any of those other things. We specialize in walking alongside the woman who was caught in this abortion debate to provide encouragement, information, resources to help her make the best decision for her. And ultimately, that turns out to be the best thing for her unborn child as well. I'm going to give you a fair warning. I'm retiring. I don't know if I told you this. I'm retiring in 2 months after 10 years. And nice crowd. I have had such a great ride at Hope. It's the best ministry. I've been working in ministry my entire life. It's the best ministry I've ever worked in. God has just blessed Hope so much to make what we do work so well in women's lives. But being 2 months away, I'm just becoming very aware of that great place in my heart. And I may get a little sappy at times. I'm just telling you up front. It happens unexpectedly. So 8 years ago, a woman came into Hope, no appointment. She was a walk-in. Typically, walk-ins for us are women who are more likely to be abortion-minded. Often women are abortion-minded because they have made a mess of their lives and they see no way to carry this responsibility. This woman fit that profile. She was addicted. She had had 2 children before. DHS had possession of both of them. Her boyfriend was her dealer, and he was sitting in the lobby with her. They came in together. She said to Meredith, who was just a volunteer at that time. Since then, Meredith has become one of our paid nurses. She said to Meredith, the volunteer, when they were doing the one-on-one, she said, I really want to have this baby. I want to keep this baby and mother this baby. And Meredith knew that that was not going to be her reality because she would not be able to keep this baby with her life the way it was. And so Meredith said to her at one point in the interview with her, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you willing to do the hard work to get your act together so that you can mother this baby? And she said, I'm a 10. So Meredith said, okay, here's what we'll do then. Tell me if you want me to do this. I can call an organization in town that provides in-house addiction recovery. I can have them come to the back door. They will take you away, and he will not know where you went. You will not be in touch with him anymore, and you can get clean. Do you want me to do that? And she said, yes. And so they whisked her out the back door, and she went into a rehab facility, and she got clean. And she came back a couple times after that. She came back and introduced Meredith to her baby, who she named Hope. And, you know, as happens with so many of the women that come to Hope Pregnancy Clinic, we have parenting classes now so we can hang on to them a little bit longer. The longer we know them and can interact with them, the more we can help them. But this woman, you know, drifted off, and we lost track of her. A few years ago, a similar woman came in for our services, and she came with an escort of some sort, an older woman who looked like she might be a mentor, maybe a sister. She was pretty quiet and let this other woman who came for the help to do the talking. And this other woman was addicted and very abortion-minded, couldn't see how she could carry a baby. And Meredith, who was on staff then, was also coincidentally saw this woman. And I don't really remember what happened with that woman, but I remember what happened with the woman who came in with her. Because when the conversation was done with her, she said to Meredith, "Do you remember me?" And Meredith did not. You know, they see hundreds of women. And, you know, it's no fair when you only see one, but we see hundreds. And she said, "Well, would it help you remember if I told you my child's name is Hope?" And she proceeded to tell the rest of her story. She got clean. She got her life together. She got her 2 children back. She had all of her children. And she went to work for the organization that had helped her. And now she helps women get out of that place. I know. One of my favorite stories. It's hard for me to tell that without getting choked up. So Hope Pregnancy Clinic has been on Market Street for the last 35 years. We've been in existence for 40 years. We're in our 41st year now. We're in a part of Market near the freeway. There's a very impoverished demographic that's there. We are well known in the receiving community. We're well known on the streets of Salem, and that's good. We want to be. And God has blessed us to have a bright light. I mean, this year we will break our attendance record again. We have every year for the last 10 years that I've been there at least, and we will see this year over 1,000 women at Hope Pregnancy Clinic. Isn't that an amazing thing that these women, and 40% of them, sure, you can clap, that's a big deal. Like almost half of these women, 40%, come in with their baby's life in peril. They either plan to have an abortion or it's on the table, they don't know what to do, they don't see how they can have a baby. That's like this year, that's 400 women that will come into Hope whose babies' lives are in jeopardy. And they come in basically saying, "Can you help me?" It's amazing. They know that they're in a mess, and we think, Meredith now is the lead nurse, and we work together closely. Meredith and I think that a lot of these women who say, "I have to have an abortion, I want to have an abortion," they're looking for someone to talk them out of it. Show me a way out. I believe I have to do this, but in my heart's heart, I don't want to do this. So Hope exists. This is our mission statement. We exist to empower women who are unprepared for pregnancy to make healthy, life-affirming decisions about their pregnancy. Near the end of that mission statement, there's a comma, and it says, "and to introduce them to Jesus." So we look for, in that counseling room, we look for an opportunity to share the gospel about the one person that can help her the most with this new baby, and that's Jesus. We don't always get an opportunity to go into depth. We'll ask a question like, do you have a faith system that gives you resource with this decision? But most of the time, the women that come to us are in crisis, and they have one thing going on, and it's that pregnancy. In fact, when we go do the pregnancy test, we save it till after we've talked with her, because we know that she'll be distracted by what are the results of that pregnancy test. Am I pregnant? And so, yeah. But that's our mission statement. Our approach is to be entirely woman-centered. We want her to know this truth, that we got her back. We do. We just want to communicate it to her so that she will be clear with us about what's going on. And we ask good questions of her, and we listen well to what she has to say. Just let it out. And some of them just let out a lot of crud. Some of them are very hard to be with because they don't even seem to like themselves. It's just they have hurt themselves so much. So we care for her, we seek what's best for her, and we seek to give her the information she needs to make a good decision. She has to decide what's best for her. She might say, what do you think I should do? Our volunteers and staff won't answer that question. We'll give her feedback, but we won't answer that question because she has to come to that decision herself. So, do we think we know what's best for her? Yes. Do we have an agenda? Well, we kind of have a pretty strong opinion, but we work really hard to not have an agenda because she has to leave owning her decision. Otherwise, she'll walk out and the pressures that have been pushing on her will go right back and she'll go back to being abortion-minded. So we have to give her all of the resources we can to make that good decision. And so we try and ferret out with these good questions and this good listening. What are the issues in her life that might lead her to have an abortion? So we have a list of 14 of them. We make our volunteers memorize these 14 variables that, if they're in her life, they make her more abortion-minded. Some of them are pretty obvious. If she's addicted, if she's living on the streets, if she has a boyfriend or husband that wants her to have an abortion, if she has a mother or father that wants her to have an abortion. Those are the big ones. But there's others. Is she a student in school? Does she have a job that she needs those finances and that job would be in peril? There's just a lot of variables. And so, good for her, there are a ton of resources in the Salem area to help her with all of those things. Salem, so I actually live in Newburgh. We, not that long ago, lived in Beaverton. I used to direct a pregnancy center in Central Oregon. And I've worked in a lot of clinics, in a lot of environments, a lot of pregnancy clinics, in a lot of environments. And Salem has the best resources of all, both church-based and government-based. There's just a ton of stuff available. I showed these to Melissa. We have 2 notebooks sitting down this wide, 2 of them, to cover the information for all of the resources available for all of these things. And our volunteers and staff have a lot of these memorized, and they're able to try and help this woman who's going to leave our building in about 20 minutes to know that she can get the help she needs. We have women who come in abortion-minded and leave abortion-minded. And it's heartbreaking. And most of them know that it makes us sad. But what they hear from us is the message that if you ever need help, if there's anything we can do, please call us, come back. We'll talk with you some more. If this abortion doesn't go well, please come to us and we can talk through that. We have women who've chosen to get an abortion who get pregnant again. We get a lot of frequent flyers, I call them, who will come back again. We've had women who've come to us and gotten more than one abortion. But many times, the second time they come back, they say, I had an abortion, I can never do that again. And we get to help them go on. Some women who come in abortion-minded ask us, some women who come in abortion-minded are angry. What do you mean you don't do abortions? Will you refer me for abortion? And our answer is no, we don't provide abortions. We don't refer for abortions. That's actually clear on our webpage. It's clear on all of our information. But some women are angry that we won't do it. And when they press us about it, we just tell them the truth. We don't do that. We don't refer for that because we just don't think it's good for women. Do you notice how we always lead about what's best for her? We don't talk about the baby. In fact, we don't even call it a baby until she's referred to, I can't have a baby. If she says that, we will acknowledge with her that that is a baby inside of you. But we don't want to manipulate her with our language. We truly, truly are there for her. Rain or shine, life or not, we want her to know we'll be her advocate. We also want to help women who do choose to carry by providing parenting classes. And we just thought of this about 5 years ago now, because we have always sought to figure out how can we spend more time with these women. Some of them will show a real interest in the gospel. There we have her, for that hour that we have her there. And we'll invite her, the volunteer will invite her back. We can talk more. You can make an appointment to come back next week. We can meet as many weeks as you want somebody to talk with. We would love to do that. If that guy is still pounding on you and you just want somebody to talk to, come in anytime and we will meet with you. But if you come in next week, I'll be here because our volunteers work the same shift once a week. And we had about this much result getting women to come back. It was awful. Once the pregnancy question is decided, they move on with their crisis-filled life. Until we figured out this incentives-based parenting class that we could provide. And here's how it works. If you sign up for our parenting initiative, you'll be able to meet with a volunteer, much like me. I'm trying to wear my female volunteer thing. Did you see that? Okay. Much like me. We'll go over a parenting curriculum with you to help you. We have a great 6-week module about the pregnancy process, the birthing process, and the first week of being a parent. Would that be useful to you? I mean, yes, it would be. And we actually, just for attending the class, just for attending that, then we'll give you all kinds of stuff, everything you'll need. In fact, for just coming 6 weeks, you'll get a brand new car seat. Our donors buy us so many car seats for a year now. It is amazing. Donors are the 1,500 people and the 60 churches in the Salem area that are our partners. Everything we give to women is free, but it's not free to us, and our giving community helps pay for that. So thank you for the offering. And that will go completely to our patient care. So they get a lot of stuff by being in the parenting class. They have a mentor who meets with them every week who is more than a parenting mentor. She's like a life coach, and she gets to help her with all of these other issues in her life for the long term. She gets points for everything she does in the parenting class, so, for coming, for doing homework. If the father of the baby comes along, she gets credit for that. So half the time, the father of the baby comes with her. That's pretty awesome that we get to talk to the dads now. If she does the optional Bible study, she gets more points for that. Almost every woman chooses to have a Bible study with us. And what's the study? It's called Who is Jesus? So it's 6 weeks of Who is Jesus. Is that amazing? Oh my gosh. We currently have 6 women right now in the parenting initiative who are all unbelievers. It's amazing that God brings these women to us. We are an extension of the church in Salem, Church Big C. And like I said, women come in and say, "Will you help me?" And we say, "Yes, we will." So of that 1,000 women that will come in this year, of that 40%, the 400 or so women who will come in abortion-minded, come in with abortion at least on the table. After having our counseling and after seeing her baby on an ultrasound, so let me just back up to what we provide for her for free. They get to have a pregnancy test, not a whole lot different than what she can get at Safeway. She will have a nurse consultation, and she will have an ultrasound. We want to give an ultrasound to every woman who has a positive pregnancy test. Even if she has 3 kids already and is excited to have the 4th, we still want her to see what's going on the inside. Sorry, did I say that? We want every woman to see what's going on inside of her tummy. We want her to see life. At 6.5 weeks, 6.5 weeks old, the heartbeat will be flickering. It's really fast. And at like 8 weeks to 10 weeks, which is when we see most of our patients, you can actually see the bodily form of that baby moving. So of the 400 women that come in thinking abortion, after all of that, about 320 of those women leave the clinic life-minded. They leave saying, I am going to have this baby, you know. I want to tell you about a teenager who came into Hope. She came in with her mother. She is a senior in high school. And her mother called to make the appointment. And her mother did almost all of the talking in the interview. And it became pretty clear that the mother leaned toward having an abortion, wanted her grandchild to not be alive in her daughter's tummy. She said things like, honey, you're just not ready for it. This is not a good time. It's a bad time in your life. And the girl didn't say much. She was pretty submissive. And they left undecided. We've had women leave undecided before like that. We won't hear from them again. It's really rare. And we didn't hear again from either of them until about 6 or 7 months later, when the teenage girl came in by herself, quite pregnant, asking about that parenting class we had been talking about. And she did enroll in the pregnancy initiative. And then we heard the rest of her story. Her mother made an appointment for them at Planned Parenthood. And they actually were in the building, in the room where the procedure would happen, together, waiting for the doctor. And that was when she got her voice. And she said, I want to have my baby. I'm going to have my baby. You can be a part of this or not. And she got up and left. So, yeah, right? So she enrolled in the parenting initiative, and I think she was there for a couple of 6-week sessions. And her mom came a couple times. And then they came back with the baby together. And now she lives at home with her parents, who are delighted to be grandparents. Don't you love it? So the ultrasound is a big tool for us. We're actually in the middle of a pretty massive building project, and we'll be finished soon. We're just, when I say soon, it's a year from now, but we've been doing this a long time, it feels like. And we'll go from having 2 ultrasound rooms to 4. And I don't know if you don't know about the Knights of Columbus. They are a fraternal organization in the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church, super pro-life. And they have discovered Hope Pregnancy Clinic here in town. And they are committed to buying us 4 new ultrasound machines, which cost about $40,000 a piece. That's right, and that's something. So they just bought us this new one that we're going to be installing because one of our two ultrasound machines is trying to die. But I want to tell you about that tool. So a woman sits on a medical bed, just like in any clinic. She has the ultrasound tech. We have all of our nurses are trained to be ultrasonographers, and so the nurse will be sitting here, and she will be, here's the patient's tummy, and she's looking here, and she's looking on her screen. But on that wall in both of our rooms is a monitor, a pretty good-sized TV monitor. So whatever is on that screen that our nurse is seeing, the patient and whoever is sitting with her is seeing it on that screen. So if there's a heartbeat, if there's movement, if there's a clear baby, she sees it all. I want to tell you a couple more very brief patient testimonies, because we see a lot of decisions happen right there in the ultrasound when life is observed. One of these women who was determined, abortion determined, is looking at the screen while this is going on. She said, "Oh, that's a baby. I can't abort that." And the other woman, different time, same setup, very abortion-minded, simply said, "Oh, hello, baby." Don't you love that? Yeah. So that's what I want to say. That's what I get to do. I'm on the support chain. We have nurses and volunteers who work on the front line doing this, and I just get to help provide administrative oversight. I do the hiring and I do the advertising and all of the boring stuff, and they're really on the front line doing the critical stuff. But we need you. We exist to serve for you. We do a niche in the church of Salem, Big C. We have a niche that we do so well. And churches, good churches, want to see this happen. They want women who are caught in the abortion debate to have a place to go, to get these kinds of resources, so that you can continue to do what you do well here. And by the way, it's really been enjoyable being with you all. You guys have a church home. You are blessed. This is a great thing, and I just get to see it and experience it for one day. It's very sweet. But we get to be a part of this in the larger sense by representing you in the community. And so we work hard to give the church connection points to what we do. So we have two websites. We have two websites because we serve two different sets of people. We serve the receivers and we serve the givers. And we just live in the middle to help the givers reach the receivers. But they speak different languages. We use the word choice a lot. It is her choice. We protect that with her. We kind of have to. We're stuck with it, but we work with it. The givers, they're all about life and babies and Jesus. And so are we. But that's not how we want to lead. So we talk their language, and we talk y'all's language, my language. So, two websites. Sorry, long story. To our patients, they'll look us up as Hope Pregnancy Clinic, and they'll find that website. To our donors, and this is the one I want you to remember, it's simply Hope for Salem. Just think of it. We provide Hope for Salem. And on that website, you can sign up to be a prayer partner. You would receive a prayer blast about 3 times a month. That's kind of how we average. It will be, there is a patient. This is her situation. She needs your prayer now. Those are our prayer blasts. It's a specific patient, not named, not able to identify her in case she's somebody that you might know. We have to, keep it confidential. So that's one way, prayer blast. You can support us financially, and there's like every organization, there's an icon there. You can figure that out. Or you can choose to volunteer. So let me tell you about our volunteer roles. The one that I've referred to in the clinic is called an advocate. It is the hardest role because it's frontline. And there's a whole lot of information that a person has to know. We train you in all of that. It takes a few months to train an advocate. And it involves shadowing together and following your trainer, and not until the new advocate is ready do we make her go solo. But she'll have had plenty of practice runs. It is the training in being a good listener is useful for the rest of your life. It's one shift that's either morning or afternoon. It's about a 4.5-hour shift. Same day, same morning, same afternoon, every week. You work right alongside one of the nurses that day. It is an amazing opportunity. But it's hard. It's not for everybody. It's hard in this way. You have to work through a lot of sludge, and it can be hard in that way. We also have a volunteer role in the parenting initiative called the mentor. This is bad advertising for advocates, but I'm going to tell you, the mentor is a lot more fun. Because this woman's already chosen life, and she wants to learn. She might have the husband or the boyfriend with her, and sometimes he even wants to know more. Maybe he had a crappy dad, and he wants to fix that himself. And so you often get the opportunity to have an open vessel. They're much more likely to want to talk about Jesus, and it's a great role. That role is about an hour and a half every week, same time of day. It kind of shifts around. We schedule according to the patient's needs. For those of you who say, I'm not really that much of a people person, well, we have a role for you. It's called the materials. So we get tons of stuff that comes in. We get a lot of used stuff, and some of it we have to wash and prepare, and we have all of these different ways of packaging it for different needs. We actually even have a set of bags for a woman who comes off the street who's not pregnant, but just says, do you have anything for me? And we just have your basic little, soap and toothbrush and that stuff. But we give a huge gift bag to every pregnant woman if she'll come back a couple weeks before her due date. And then we stuff a whole lot of stuff over to the parenting initiative because they just give a ton of stuff away. So we have materials volunteers who manage all of that. We have a team of about 10. And sometimes they work alone in our attic sorting stuff, and sometimes they work in pairs and stuff. So it's a great role. I love that set of volunteers because they're super sweet and kind, but they're just kind of shy, It's like we got a place for them. There's also an opportunity to help at our events, help with our fundraising fall dessert. By the way, if you want to really hear about Hope on October 25th, go on our website and let us know you're coming to the convention center where we put the best foot forward. Everything's provided. You don't have to pay anything, and you don't have to give anything. But just come. You'll learn more. Don't tell the rest of my team I said it's supposed to be a fundraising event. But, you guys... Secret invitation right here. And then sometimes we have some projects, weeding, painting, washing windows, things like that even the guys, we have something for you guys, okay, so you can help. So again, God loves Hope Pregnancy Clinic, and He goes ahead of us. And I am grateful that I get to share all of that story with you all. Really thank you both so much for letting me come.
I'm going to invite the worship team up. We're going to respond in a few different ways. If you want to stand to your feet this morning. Wow, I'm so honored and so privileged to get to partner with such an awesome organization like Hope Pregnancy Clinic. It's easy to, and it's not necessarily easy, but it can be easy to get up on a platform and make a statement about a position, a hot topic in culture being pro-life, but then it's like you're left with the stickiness of what do you do in the difficult situations. And I'm so thankful I don't have to have all those answers, but I can partner with people who do, and partner with organizations who help equip women and help to be their advocate. And I just think that's so beautiful. And it's right in line with some of the national numbers I've seen, which is I think 80% of women who hear a heartbeat choose life. And I don't have the ability, I can stand in front of someone all day and say Jesus is pro-life, but I don't have that ability to show them a heartbeat, right? But where there's places, safe places where they can be advocates and help move the mission of Jesus forward for life, amen? And help equip young moms and moms-to-be, and I'm assuming partner with organizations even and refer for those who maybe need to find different parents for that child, right? Yeah. And you may not know this, I'm a product of the foster care system and adoption. And how many of you are, I'm thankful I'm here, okay? I didn't want to do a poll because then I might get insecure, but but we're so thankful that there are options, and it can be easy in a cultural world to say that there's only this or that and there are no other options. There are options, amen?